what's up?
Oh, that's usually my gig.
Oh.
The bounce after the
yeah. I'm sorry. I was like, let's start over. Go.
Bounce.
There you go.
Yeah. So what's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 73 of Michigan Brews. Kind of a I don't know what you call these episodes. We call them our chill episodes or our throwaway episodes or whatever. Just our I don't know. I like these episodes where we don't have to impress anyone. Not that we're impressive to begin with, but
I want to call it a recovery after a long week, a lot of beer episode.
By recovering with more beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever that may be.
So tonight we all exchanged beers. I beer ferried some stuff around to Jordan, Jason, and I earlier. I guess I did ferry stuff back to myself. And we're all going to be very critical of each other's homebrew tonight.
Yeah.
Not really, but
no, I got a thesaurus up to tell me or give me other words to use.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Jordan is running a little bit behind tonight. He will be on. I dropped beer off at his house. I know he's alive, so he just said he's running a little bit behind tonight. But I'm going to cheat a little bit and dictate which beer we start off with because I was doing all the beer running today. I decided I didn't want to bottle a lot of my own stuff. So my very first pour is right off my Keyser, and it's my blonde ale. Did you open one already?
No. I did the same thing though. I went down and poured off of my Keyser. So
we can do that. We'll do that one next.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I think Jordan. Go ahead.
No, so what are you drinking, Brian?
Yeah. It just so happens I have a blonde ale brewed with Mackinac hops. For once, you can actually kind of see how clear it is in the webcam. But
the lighting behind me is really shit. But yeah, nice head.
I have a dump glass for any of my beer that I think is too bad or something. So
that's because. So a few minutes ago, as we're going through the beers that Brian dropped off, it was like a massive Russian Imperial Stout that we're going to be going over. Some random ass sour that you hope doesn't explode in our faces.
Yeah.
And then a couple of Jordan stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't say I have a dump bucket, but
the sour I'm excited about. I think that it was the very first sour that came out of a 15-gallon Journeyman barrel that we, and by we I mean Jordan, myself, and Drew Doster put a Russian Imperial Stout through, a barley wine through, and then maybe another stout before we decided to sour it. I think we've talked about that barrel a few times. There's still sour beer in it right now. We have to clean that barrel out. That's the barrel actually that we're donating to MHF.
Which we were supposed to donate 7 months ago.
Yeah, well, we'll figure it out this year. Maybe we can bring it out there, wetted somehow, so it doesn't, get dry or something. I don't know. Well.
But no, I'm excited if that's out of your Journeyman barrel. I also have one of those 15-gallon barrels, and I did some amazing Russian Imperial Stout out of that, but I haven't soured it yet. Mine's been sitting with water in it for a year and a half.
Gotcha.
Mr.
Jordan,
Brady,
welcome.
Hi, sorry I'm late.
No worries, man.
Bedtime with the kiddo, and he was
don't worry about it.
Running all around. So, all right.
I'm feeling tonight. So Brian dictated that we started off with his Mackinac
blonde. I guess that is a B word. Was that your thesaurus?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No, my thesaurus is set to other words that rhyme with distasteful or that associate with horrible. No.
So what is this? You said it's a what?
So it's a
Catch me up.
American blonde ale brewed with Mackinac hops, just Mackinac. So
okay.
Let me pull up Mackinac hops. Got these from the Michigan Hop Alliance. I believe it was $10 a pound when I got them. And I think I
That's not
ordered
bad.
like a cool hat with them too. I'll go find the hat, but profile is tropical citrus melon fruit punch, robust citrus. It's a Chinook cross, I guess. So
Okay.
I think I only used 2 ounces of Mackinac in this throughout the entire brew.
Clear.
1 ounce of that was like Whirlpool. I think it's only like 22 theoretical IBUs. So
Oh, that's not bad. Not
cheers. We don't have to drink all 12 ounces of each of these beers. Depends on how you guys are feeling tonight, I guess.
Yeah.
That
I'm feeling this one.
that stout is 10%. So
That is tasty.
So I get the tropical fruit flavors. I almost want to say, which this is normally a bad word for me, but is it like guava-y almost?
I don't honestly know what a guava tastes like.
Yeah, no, or not Brian. That one's Brian. Or that one's Jason. This one's Brian. Sorry, brain. No, I get what you're getting at. There we go. Now, now I'm gonna be confused next time I do that again. All right. But no, I kind of get that hint of guava that you were talking about in it.
Which normally, so I don't like the fruit itself, and I don't like guava beers, and I know Pog is a big thing right now, or it was last year anyway.
What the hell
but
is
this isn't
Pog?
in Pog. Passion fruit orange guava.
Is that the outside beer?
Okay.
It's, I mean, honestly, it's 100 beers.
It's like a thing.
Yeah, I feel like people were doing Pog beers left and right.
Okay.
Definitely
I feel
Pog
like
seltzers and stuff.
if somebody hasn't made a Pog flavored beer and call it Slammer yet,
Oh, hold on.
Pogs.
Googling.
I used to have a slammer, and this was during the OJ trials. And it had like a cartoon like depiction of OJ on it, and it said OJ's in the slammer, and it was a slammer.
Oh,
And I don't know what happened to it. I don't own it anymore. I feel like it would be worth so much money. I should probably check eBay one of these days. But I still have all my poison pogs.
I got some of them. I got some of them.
So there's definitely beer out there made called Pog Slam, Pog Slammer. Actually, it sounds like there are 39 different beers.
All right, my idea is not original. I get it. All right,
nothing is original anymore.
No.
This one's cute. Slam Down, a Pog Sour, by Idiom Brewing. But yeah, I feel like there were a lot of Pog beers, and personally, I don't like passion fruit and I don't like guava, so I always avoided them. But no, I get a little hint of guava. I don't know. Tropical is it's not bad in this. The malt
it's supposed to be mostly malty.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying for the hops, to be too up front or anything.
I would say that's the only thing. Like, this is a fantastic beer by all means. The only thing that I guess would critique on it is that maybe that like passion fruit flavor that I'm getting isn't quite mixing so well with the caramely flavor from the malt.
Like maybe cut down on the Whirlpool next time or something potentially.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, fantastic beer though. Like, I'm searching to find something to critique on it. But
if you guys want some Mackinac too, like, I by all means hit me up and I can bring some to the next like homebrew club meeting or something, because I have a pound of it and I don't know what to do with it right now. It was just so cheap. I was like, why not?
I think I've got like 6 ounces of it myself right now.
Oh, you got those canned Michigan hops a while back, didn't you?
Yeah. I was looking for them. I have the Bergamot can on my shelf, so I know the Mackinac's still down in the Keezer. Mackinac.
I picked up a shit ton of hops from that last Bell's sale. I gotta look at what I have. Maybe that Mackinac would be a good mix with whatever I picked up.
But for the blonde green base, Brian, is it just pale?
No. So and I was thinking about that too. So with like blonde ales or cream ales, like there's not a whole lot to them, right? So you sort of want to make what is there stand out a little bit. So I didn't just go one base malt. I actually went just about half and half with 2-row and Golden Promise. And then added a pound of torrefied wheat for head retention and which I think did pretty well. Like if you look at the sides of the glass, I don't know if yours is doing it, but like mine, it just leaves like foam shit, all the way down.
Yep.
No, it's lacing is incredible. The retention on this, and it had a nice thick, very aromatic head.
I think I'm going to start going the torrefied wheat route instead of like Carapils or Carafoam like I have been. When I first started brewing, I went torrefied wheat, and then people were coming up with crazy new malts and new things for head retention and stuff like that. And honestly, like going back to this really simple beer and just using that wheat, like I think it did a really good job. So I'm going to keep playing around with that more. And then victory malt, just a little half-pound victory malt to add a little.
That's the
and that's your caramely, probably or something like that.
I would say that
little toasted flavor or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I agree with Jordan. Either maybe lower the whirlpool hops or maybe cut down on that victory, because it does have like a fruit malt kind of fighting for each other, a little malt sweetness. I don't know.
Yep. Yeah, it kind of blends from that like that fruity guava-ness into that malty, beer flavor.
Maltiness.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like you kind of want to, either punch it, like reduce the fruitiness or remove the fruitiness and, maybe boost that malt up a little bit. That'd be what I'd do. If you gave me this recipe, I'd probably cut down on the victory. Because I like the fruity beers, especially with the season that we're coming into.
Yeah.
Like I feel like a less of the malty flavor, a little bit more of that fruity.
I do. I think I agree. I think the fruit's real nice and probably a little less malt. You should post the recipe. In fact, I'm only going to talk about one beer, but I'm happy to throw my recipe out there when we're done. But we should post recipes that we talk about. Brian,
I like that.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Let me make a note, because every time we say that we're going to do something, I feel like I've been really bad at actually doing it. If I were to go back and listen to all of our episodes, I could probably find like 10 things that we've said that we were going to post about and never did. So if you
as we go, but
if you're listening to this episode and you have listened to back episodes, or you're catching up like on the podcast or something like that, and you found that you wanted to find something that I said I would post about and never did, please call me out. We'll go find it.
What about the swag from Thanksgiving?
It's coming. It's coming. We have the hats.
I've got the hats sitting right over here.
We have all the hoodies. We have all the shirts. We're getting them printed. So they're still coming. I have everybody's address.
Yep,
Ashley.
Yep.
Ashley, we have Tim's hat. I promise. So, yeah, Tim's all about his hat. He texts me like once a week.
That's funny as hell. Hats. That's a mighty sexy fucking hat you're wearing there, Brian.
It's from the Lost Abbey down in California. What's the?
It's on that side. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know what it means.
No idea.
Yeah, I think I went and looked, and they have it on a lot of their merch and like some of their beer or something. So if somebody knows right off the hand, put it in chat. Otherwise, I'll find that, and hey, maybe I'll put that out there too, with our recipes, since we keep promising people things tonight. But yeah, I think throwing the recipe out there is a good idea. I don't have the yeast in my recipe here, but I think
I was just gonna ask about that. It's very clean.
It was USO 5.
That's what I was gonna say. Like,
yeah. I don't use dry yeast a ton, but sometimes I just get like the itch to brew. And if I don't have 2 or 3 days to do a yeast starter, I keep a few packs of USO 5 and a few packs of Verdant and a few packs of 3470 in the fridge for brewing emergencies.
You don't just trust the smack pack and go with it?
No, I do not.
Brewers problems. The term brewing emergency.
I know, right? Yeah. Everybody's had one, right? Everybody's been like,
I gotta brew.
Yeah. Everybody has those, right?
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, I think the most important thing about it, Brian, is I don't taste any green peppers. So good job.
That's a plus. Yeah.
Now that you mention it, No,
Do
I'm,
you
I'm
really?
kidding.
Oh,
No,
God, I was
no.
and
It's a crushable blonde ale. It's quite delicious.
for those that don't get the reference, I think there were 2, potentially 3 beers that I brewed back maybe in the winter.
Yeah, well,
Starting with was it the fall maybe too? Starting with a Czech Pils, and there was no coffee in any of these beers, but this Czech Pils had a very distinct green pepper flavor in it that I couldn't really pick out that much, but probably like 90% of the people I gave the beer to could. I even sent it to Dr. Homebrew, and I don't remember what episode it was, but if you search through their episodes for Czech Pils, you can find me on there talking about the beer. Only one of the Bryans tasted green pepper and the other couldn't. So it was interesting. And I think it was Brian Cooper. Gosh, I can't remember. One of the Bryans, which is, an amazing name for homebrewers, by the way, went and actually did some research after the fact and think it had something to do with the yeast. Just some weird way. Maybe I stepped up the yeast and it was some sort of off flavor caused by fermentation. So I don't think we ever really nailed it down.
It was a specific yeast because it hit other people were doing it at the time, and I had even used that yeast somewhere. What was it? I'm trying to.
It was Imperial's Czech yeast. I can't remember what they call it.
Urkel.
Urkel.
Yeah. Urkel. It was Urkel. And some other people at the same time had used Urkel that had done weird stuff.
Yep. Art had, and I tasted something weird in his beer too.
But I had even brewed with Urkel. In fact, the beer that we're going to drink tonight was my beer brewed with Urkel, and it stalled for like 3 weeks with no activity. Like it was doing weird stuff. I don't think I get green peppers out of it, but Urkel was doing some odd shit. I'm looking for your Dr. Homebrew one right now.
So I went to find, it was Brian Cooper, and I went back to find the off flavor that he thinks it was, and the off flavor is called 2-isobutyl-3-methoxypyrazine. So say that one 5 times fast, but and you can get it in off flavor kits, but it says it has a very low flavor threshold and imparts unpleasant earthy and green pepper notes. So yeah, kind of interesting. No idea how that would end up in my beer, but I haven't used that yeast since. I then went to
that was actually a Czech pale lager, right?
Yes.
So that was the December 2nd episode 202 of Dr. Homebrew, which I'm going to link in just a second.
Yeah, because Czech Pilsners aren't really a thing, or the only thing that can actually be called Czech Pilsner is like Pilsner Urquell or something like that, or maybe Budvar. But
there you go.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, check it out. Listen to me talk about my crappy beer.
What are you talking about, Brian? We do that all the time.
So that same recipe, I had brewed one time prior though, and it took gold at the Michigan State Fair last year. So infection or something. And then another beer I brewed after it. Somebody mentioned that they thought they tasted a slight green pepper thing. So I boiled the shit out of like anything metal that I used in my brewery. Like I cleaned all my fermenters. I disassembled my boil kettle. I cleaned everything, and everything's been fine since. So I still don't know if it was the yeast or like some weird infection thing. It wasn't my brew lines because I've ran a lot of beer through those lines since then, and nothing's come up. So we'll see. But yeah, we'll get this recipe out there.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, I finished it. I'm moving on to a Czech dark lager.
I was just going to suggest.
Right.
We don't need to blow our palates out yet.
No.
Jordan, and I'm going to see how this turns out. When I went to drop off your beer at Jason's house, the Hydromel that you gave me, one bottle, absolutely beautiful, crystal clear, bubbly, sparkly. the other bottle looked like New England IPA, like through the bottle.
Oh,
So no,
no.
so I'm trying. So I gave Jordan the good bottle. I'm trying to let mine all settle out.
Yeah,
So I'm
I
going
was
to
gonna say,
very
Jordan,
gently
it looks
pull it out
beautiful to
later.
me.
Oh
but,
no,
like,
it's gorgeous.
Yeah. I must have been drinking on that thing too much. I thought I had a lot left. I need Brian's setup and a bunch of Play-Doh
Some
scales.
Play-Doh cake. So
Yeah.
Matt Ushman, who we had on a couple weeks ago, a couple months ago this time, he has a video out on YouTube on how to wire together a scale for like, I
Interesting.
don't know, $20-$30 or something like that. And I think he
I'd
has
be
it set
for
up to
that.
use Taplist IO with not HomeKit. What's the other thing I'm thinking of that runs on Raspberry Pis? Home Assistant.
Oh, okay.
So that might be something to look into too.
Yeah,
but-
absolutely. Yeah, I'll have to watch. I'm sure he's got that posted on his YouTube channel. I'll have to go check it out
It
because
does.
Hey, what's going on?
yeah,
it is.
Oh. there it is. Jason was just listening to it.
Nope.
Yeah.
So our friend Matt Ushman over at Trouble Brewing. It was posted March 22nd. Shout out to Matt. There's a link in our channel. It's basically how to update your keg levels in Taplist IO using data from a Home Assistant, using API and get data from patch keg data.
It's a little bit of a, I think I don't know. It's not advanced, but I think that he makes it pretty easy to follow. It does require a little bit of soldering. I think that he said that was his first time soldering, and he still managed to accomplish it. So,
Well, I mean, shit.
it's
if
a cool
the, you know,
video.
if the cost is right, I can always learn a new skill. That's fine. That's
Yeah.
honestly the only reason I haven't picked up the Play-Doh scales is at like $150 a pop. That's a little steep.
120.
120, whatever. Still,
I think get them for 100 if you buy them in a 3-pack, maybe.
I was gonna say Brian got me with that. Like I got all excited because I swear to God, the way he described it was you get 3 for 120 or for $100 or whatever. And I'm like, I'm going to buy them. And then I went and I log in and they're like 120 a piece.
yeah. If it was, if they were if they were $50-$60 a piece, I'd probably at least have 2, by now. But no, I mean, when the cost of a keg and whatever, I don't know. I'm not spending all that money right now. Although last few times I've had, shit in kegs, I've went through it a lot faster than I really wanted. I had like a 12.5% mead sitting in a keg. And I probably pulled on that for a little while. I was just drinking it in little tiny 3-ounce like pour things, and I still ended up going through it.
I will say so for a while I've been out of gas in my keg, and my Keyser had what I thought was a gas leak. And I dumped a couple tanks of gas, and I just haven't fucked with it. It pissed me off, and I feel like I've dicked with it a couple of times, so I ignored it. Well, then a couple weeks ago we had some guests over, so I went through and I'm like, and plus I had to bottle off for some competitions which were coming up, so I got it all set up, got it back, realized that some Pinlock kegs I had were just leaking like sieves, and to the point that I have gone through, and every Pinlock keg I can find that doesn't have beer in it, I'm like chucking it in a pile. I'm done with them. I'm totally never using a Pinlock keg again. So anyway, and my Perry that I was getting ready to bottle for Glint Cap was in a Pinlock keg that was leaking, and I got so pissed off that I did a closed transfer. I had a clean ball lock, and I did a closed transfer the Perry to get away from using a Pinlock keg. But long story made way too long. My Keyser is back operational. The gas leak is gone because all the pin locks are gone. And I have kicked a couple of kegs. So
I didn't know you were using pin locks.
I had a mix. Dude, I have probably 30 or maybe even 40 kegs altogether. A lot of them I got cheap. Some I just got given to me by other friends at breweries and stuff. So I've got a bunch, and I just Yeah, I've always struggled with pen locks. I ultimately hate them. I actually do believe at Homebrew Fest last year, we dumped a 10-pound tank of gas on one of the back bars, and I'm positive that was because it was a fucking pen lock.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I'm swapping out. Anybody else out there that's watching that wants some pen locks cheap, hit me up. Probably in the next few weeks, I'll have cleaned everything up, and I'm guessing I probably have 15 to 20 pen locks, and I'm going to be unloading.
Wow,
that's a lot.
And I'm going to unload them. I was originally just going to. Honestly, I was so pissed off. My first reaction was I'm going to throw them away, like dumb. And I'm like, no, there's some homebrewers out there that like that shit, even though I don't know why.
So salty.
I'm very, very salty, but I need. We need to get some more jockey boxes and rig set up so that we can serve more beer at beer camp this year. So I may donate them to the club and sell them to try to get some money so that I can buy some either some more shanks, or I've got tons of faucets. I've got enough faucets to.
Did I ever give you a shank? Because I've got one laying around that I'm not using. Hi-oh.
I don't think I have. Right now, I probably have 30 faucets, and I only have shanks for. I'm looking. I have a pile of shanks in the format. I think I only have shanks for like 15. So need more shanks.
I think I got one. Though there's a caveat to it. The reason why I have an extra one is because when my kegerator shit shipped to me, I feel like the threads on the brass nut got crossed.
Oh.
With the stainless steel, so I've tried prying it off. It's I don't have a clamp and huge like pipe wrench to take it off. I'm sure if you get enough leverage, it'll come.
Yeah, we got tools. We can get it off. I mean, and it's for a jockey box, right? So once we put it back on something, who cares? Like,
well, yeah, exactly. I just never could get it off, and the company sent me a new one. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah,
I'll play with it if you got it.
Yeah,
we'll trade pin locks for shanks. So there you go.
Yeah,
I will pay or beer line or jockey box material.
Are we? Is this one yours? The white cap?
It is.
Is this the one we're drinking?
Yep,
it is.
Okay.
So this is earlier in the year, Brian. I wanted to brew my first brew of 2022. I messaged Brian, like, what should I brew? And he was like, Czech dark lager. Amazingly quick, I think.
Yeah, it was like 10 seconds later or something.
Yeah. And so I did a bunch of Google searching, looked at like, Gordon Strong's recipe and probably like 15 others. And I kind of cobbled together some different Czech dark recipes that I saw and tweaked slightly, so this is something unique. Used Urkel. It was my first lager. I actually did lager this. It took an incredibly long time to get going, and in fact, I was about ready to pitch some. What is it, Brian? 3270.
Yeah, 3470.
3470. And I went to pitch, some other dry yeast in there to try to get it going again, and it was actually at like Heikrausen that day. So it was kind of weird ferment. Overall, I mean, I initially liked it. I don't know that it's a Czech dark lager. It probably is more like a Schwartz beer. It's got a lot of coffee notes to it, I think. Yeah, it's the only beer I've really brewed this year. So.
I'm gonna mess with my audio for a quick sec here, so don't mind me.
You gonna turn your voice into something else?
A robot? No. Well, here, do I have does it sound like I have any static or noise or anything like that?
No, you sound good.
It sounded good.
Okay, I'm not gonna mess with it. Whenever I listen to my mic, doing my own recordings, I always hear like a slight hissing in the background or something. So as long as you guys don't hear it, then we'll.
No, we don't hear it live. You're probably
fine.
hearing that because your microphone's picking up a lot of background noise. You got a lot of stuff running. You need some noise suppression in your room.
I normally I run that through software live to do that, which is what I was gonna do. But if you guys don't hear it, then I'm not gonna.
No, right now it sounds okay. I mean, it's not like radio buttery smooth like it used to be, but I mean it sounds fine. No, for like personal recordings, get yourself some of those foam pads and place them around your room. There's a whole science as to like where your voice is projecting and where those pads should be set and whatnot.
The reason I'm not running it through the software tonight is I go back and listen through the podcasts, and I don't like the way my voice sounds on the podcasts. It sounds different, I think, than it does like live. So I don't know. I'll listen to this one and see how we do after the show. But if anybody listens to the podcast up until now and thought my voice was terrible and ratchety and shit up through episode 73, let me know your opinion on whether I should run that back through or not. But Brandon is joining us in the Fuck Pinlocks brigade, and in fact Tim brought this up too. He says he feels like we might have a few more lager boys in training. We're gonna have like lager boys patches for the Keepers of Craft shirts. I don't know if you saw that. I don't know if you're a lager boy, Jason. Really, I don't know if you brew enough lagers to be a lager boy.
I brewed one.
What's is it just one? Is because I'll make that my next brew.
I think there's a rule. Tim's gonna have to explain. It's something maybe like 30% of the beers that you brew are lagers. I can't remember the exact percentage, but
50% of the beers that I brewed this year have been lagers.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's a percentage, I'll do the one.
Yeah,
it'll be 100%.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I think that on top of the Lager Boys patches, we should have Fuck Pinlocks or something like that. Somebody needs to design like a Fuck Pinlocks badge and 25%.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, easy.
50% of my beers this year, because I had to brew for the sour barrel, and that's it. I've only done 2, and it's April. I'm 2 behind. So, and then I'm definitely all on board for the Fuck Pinlocks. It's in the past as part of the club, we really we'll take any kegs that we possibly could. That's why I actually have so many kegs, is I would loan kegs out for other members to put beer in that we could take to beer camp. And I really don't even want to do that. Like, I wish we could. I know this won't fly and it won't go in the club, but today, because I'm still salty about the Pinlocks, I would love to say no goddamn Pinlocks. Like, fuck Pinlocks.
If at all possible to avoid.
What I really should do is shop around and see if I can find any universal pinlock to ball lock conversion posts, because I've got a lot of kegs.
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy to do. There's a lot of converted. They call them converted ball.
Yeah, can't you there's a way to put ball lock posts on your pinlocks.
I've only bought one set once and they didn't fit, but I know there's others out there. So
interesting. When I was first building my kegerator, that's what I was looking at doing, because pinlocks were just a lot cheaper.
Yeah. So that's my beer: Czech dark lager, coffee, chocolate.
So now I'm trying to decide. No, because I'm reading through some of the other dark beer styles, and I'm looking at international dark lager right now, but I think it's too chocolatey maybe to really have that. It's not, I don't know, it's not neutral enough maybe. I'm still swinging back and forth between Schwarzbier and Czech. I really think this is more of a Schwarzbier than a Czech dark lager, but I really wish that they could enter this into both categories in like the next competition.
Since you got those up right now, what's the primary differences between the two in terms of BJCP?
So the Czech lagers still use like Czech strains, so you still might have more of like a little diacetyl is still appropriate in that style, whereas Schwarzbier is not. So that's a big one. I think that Schwarzbier is probably a little bit drier too. Czech strains typically don't ferment quite as dry as other lager strains. So maybe not as dry, maybe a little bit more rich. I think that both of them can still have chocolatey and roasty flavors. But I think it honestly more comes down to the yeast than anything else. Probably like a German yeast versus a Czech yeast.
Okay.
I like so many other styles, the differences are probably, to even like train judges.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So I have entered it as a Schwarzbier in one competition and as a Czech dark in another. And depending on entries and availability for a future competition that should be opening soon, I may enter it in both. I did not get any national entries this year, so I don't really think it's that good. I'm hoping to get feedback on it. That's going to help me make it better. Like this one, I don't think is really, I don't think it's a medalable beer.
The very first thing that I taste is artesian well.
You're just kissing my ass.
No, it has
Yes.
honestly, the very first thing that comes to my mind is bittersweet chocolate.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Like
I get an astringency at the end where I think it almost makes me think like if it wasn't my beer and I didn't brew it, it almost makes me think I use like black patent, like it's got some malt bitterness. But I didn't use black patent, so
That's okay. Interesting.
I don't really think it has any roastiness. I think the carbonation is great, which is always my big thing on beers. Like a carbonation snob. So I like that. Head, I think is gorgeous and beautiful. I was reading. I do a lot of reading and listening on BJCP and judging and stuff like that. As I haven't taken my test yet, and as I want to like give good feedback when I do start judging beers and stuff like that, I want to know how the good judges do it. And supposedly, I mean, head is not going to last forever. Foam is not going to last forever on a beer. But when it starts to dissipate, having like, even like a nice thin like layer of head like this, or at least like a ring around the edge of the glass is still good head retention. Like even having that nice ring around the glass when the inside is still dark, that's still considered good head retention. Not good head retention would probably be like when we bust out my Russian Imperial. I think the ethanol content is so high on that it just the head retention isn't quite as good. So the head retention.
Tell me the other shitty parts about it. What are the off flavors?
I don't really get off flavors. I think that this could be fermented colder, which I know that you're going to start doing. Did you do that for this one?
Oh no, I ferment. Yeah, this is my very first temp controlled beer. 52 degrees. Fuck you, Brian. I listened.
Okay. No, just making sure. It I feel like there's some yeast derived like flavors in there that I can't put my finger on. And I wonder if that has anything to do with it just sitting for so long.
It might, yeah.
And that wouldn't have anything to do with like,
I mean, but so to give me a takeaway from that, like if one, I don't think I'll ever use Urkel again or Cal, whatever it's called.
So you just pitched a pack, right?
Yeah, I did.
Just one pack.
I oxygenated and I pitched the pack.
So what might have happened? So the ideal amount of yeast to pitch would have been like 4 packs
for a lager.
Yep. Technically for Imperial, maybe 2, but I doubt that you're going to ever get 200 million cells out of a pack of that yeast. Like it's always at least like a month old. And by then you're at least at, I don't know, like a quarter of those cells gone. So you're targeting 1.5 million cells per what milliliter at that point in time or something? Not per milliliter, is it 10 milliliters? I think per 10 milliliters. So you're in any case, you're looking at probably around 400 billion cells that you want.
Okay.
For a 5-gallon batch, and that might have been why it took so long to take, or why it took so long to do something. Is because at those colder temperatures, they're not reproducing quite as fast.
No, that's totally valid, and you're right. I did just use the pack. I'm used to doing ales, where, and I actually got this from White from White Labs. What's his name? Mark White. And he was like,
Chris
if you oxygenate, Chris White, there you go. If you oxygenate and pitch, one of these slap packs, like, you should be fine. Like, and I did that years ago with ales, and it worked, and it's worked, and it was like, it has been fine, right? I've won plenty of awards.
Yeah, totally.
My beer has done well, and I don't have to start a starter. And so I'm I'm homebrew. I'm lazy.
And you know what? And I think that that's still an okay way to do it. But I think that, in part because of the things that we're doing, so many other people are going and becoming better brewers and making their practices better and doing so many things better than they were even 5 years ago, that the old way of just toss it in and forget it may not be enough anymore.
I know.
You might
Look, I've always talked about, and with you especially, I always knew the next thing I need to do is temperature control.
We've talked about that, both you and I.
Yeah.
You and I.
And especially listening, or being part of, like, competitive homebrewing on Facebook and some of those other groups, and seeing what people are doing to, kind of lift their game up, which is, maybe it was COVID, really kind of lifted the drive to do better in homebrew competitions, more so than I've ever seen it before.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, some of those lazy steps that I used to take, I can totally see where, if you want, and I think after the last show we did, after we talked to Barb and I was talking to Brian, and he was listening to Dr. Homebrew, and I wound up drinking and listening to that episode the rest of the night, and I'm texting him at like 1 a.m. going, I fucking suck as a home brewer now. Like, I'm not putting the time and the effort into the hobby right now because work is so goddamn busy. And so I think that's part of it, is I got to stop taking shortcuts if I want to make the beer like I used to make. Or I want to make the beer that's going to keep up.
That's going to be competitive. Yeah.
With all you fuckers that are staying strong. So,
hey, you're ahead of me, man. I have yet to brew this year, so
I
it's
think
on my list.
I want to call that out. I think Brandon's absolutely right. Totally. I totally agree with you. I don't use dry yeast enough. And there are companies, Lallemand is doing some amazing things with dry yeast, and
their verdant yeast is amazing. I used it for the first time the last New England IPA I made, and it was delicious. And it was great just to have that yeast there, because I was like, I feel like, brewing today, I have all these hops, and New England IPAs don't require a bunch of crazy malt. And and it was amazing. Totally. Especially for lagers, 3470, that shit, you don't even necessarily need a temperature control. Like, that stuff does just fine at like 65 degrees or something.
I don't think I've ever used it.
Well, and the cool thing about it was I got so pissed off about what this Urkel was doing that I went and I think it was with David Jones at this. We swung by the store, and I bought like 6 packs of 3470 because I was just going to come back and beat the shit out of this with dry. And
then it really would have been a Schwartz beer.
and literally, thankfully, I didn't cut the yeast packs open before I opened the Keyser. So I'm standing there with the yeast packs. I open the Keyser and I see this fucker going active. So I backed off. So I've got a freezer full of 3470 Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Use it all. The next couple months, become a lager boy.
I'm
I guess
telling
you
you, I'm
are
a
a lager
lager
boy.
boy right
Yeah.
now. Per
All
Tim's
right,
rules.
Tim, is there a minimum amount of brews, or is it
He
just
said
the percent?
25%.
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
it 25% out of 4 brews minimum, or
No,
you know,
fuck you. Don't
what are
quit
the
adding
rules here?
All right, what are we drinking next, Jordan? What?
Yeah, Jordan.
I'm looking down here like I have it. So I gave you guys. So I have a cider.
Let's
gotta
do the
recall
cider
which-
because I want to let the hydromel sit as long as I can to see if anything out of
Sorry,
that
you
settles.
got the milky bottle. I had the keg blew while he was down here, and I was just like,
Well, so is your glass milky too? Didn't you?
the one,
Didn't you?
yeah, I poured it. Oh yeah, that shit looked like New England
Yeah,
that had
okay.
sat out for a while. It was like it looked like what's it called, a scrumpy cider.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah. It was opaque.
I'm still gonna try it. I'm hoping that I can
It
at least
didn't affect
siphon
the
off
flavor.
a little.
I
Oh,
drank like
okay.
half the glass, so it
Okay.
didn't really affect the flavor.
It's gonna
If
be-
anything, it gave it a little more body.
okay. So we're
but-
drinking surly hydromel, like with the yeast, I guess, or something.
Yeah, basically.
I just
The other
cider.
ones,
We're drinking the cider, right?
yeah.
Okay, let me
The
get that
cider, the
out.
one with the C on top. And that's just which keg that came out of the second tap. So that one was brewed with, I want to say it was my last pack of 71B. It's husted. And I don't believe there's any back sweetening in it. I'm pretty sure it's just straight yeast and cider.
Okay.
It's very pale.
Did you enter this into Glencap?
It's gonna be that one, or it's gonna be the other one that I have. And maybe I
Okay.
should have given you guys both of those, so that way you could tell me which one to enter. But I think the second one, the tap number 2, which is I believe what I gave you guys, is the one I like more. But so Jason, on your beer, this is great. It's good. The only I smell acetyl on it.
You
Really?
are super sensitive to that.
Yeah, no, and I am. And Jason, I'm not saying this is like anything you need to fix, because this is my one like superpower on the planet.
No, that's cool. I
like,
don't.
I smelled it as soon as I opened the bottle. Like I popped the bottle and I got a nose full of it. I don't taste it though. I will say that. I don't know if like some of the chocolate malts are covering it up or anything, but anytime I put this up to my face,
That's interesting.
I can smell it.
I will share. So it's going into at least 4 comps this year, just so I can get feedback.
Interested to see if anybody else tastes it or smells it. Because
I don't, but that's also probably it's funny with me. Acetyl's a flavor that I typically enjoy, so I don't know if I smell it anyway.
So
I have 8 ounces of green apple hops in my freezer if you want them.
Yeah.
What dark malt did you use in this? Because I'm starting to work on this theory in my head that maybe I'm not super sensitive to acetyl, and there's just a specific dark malt that has an aroma that I pick out. Because I've noticed I only ever really get it in dark beers. So, like I said, I'm wondering if there's a malt that is kicking something off. Because I don't know if you saw my face getting brighter as I was looking stuff up, but I was trying to figure out like, oh, well, where, how is this produced? Where is acetyl naturally found? And one of the first things they came from, what they said was coffee. So I'm kind of wondering if there's like a certain type of roasted malt that has that in it.
So this recipe, and this I did take from Gordon Strong. I believe this is what Gordon Strong does in his Czech Dark. But so the base brew that was mashed was 8.5 pounds of Pilsner, 1.5 pounds of Victory, 1 pound of Cara Munich, and 1 pound of chocolate. As it is. And then as I sparge or whatever you want to call it, I added 0.5 pound of Carafa 3 and a half a pound of Caramunic 2. I'm sorry, a half a pound of Carafa 2 and a half a pound of Caramunic 2 sprinkled on top of my grain bed as I
Interesting.
sponged over it. So it was like a rinse at the end with some Carafa 2 and Caramunic 2.
Yeah.
And I think I would cut down. I don't know if I'd honestly probably do away with that step altogether if I rebrewed it. And then probably tone back the victory and tone back the chocolate a little bit.
I mean, I'd have to. So like a Czech dark, I don't know if I've had any like commercial versions of that. Or at least I've never really sought it out. So it's really hard for me to place it towards like a target on what we'd be shooting for. But overall, I'd say it's an enjoyable beer. Like I said, I don't taste the apple flavor. It's just like I can smell it like anytime I pull the glass up and I get it. But
what you said earlier though, Jordan, was you get a lot off of dark beers. You read that or whatever, and I agree.
Yeah.
Like, I make that coffee stout. I call it Colombian grind. Railtown called it repeat. That's like that, and
They renamed your beer.
What's
you
that?
Didn't call it repeat?
No, I've always called it Colombian grind. I had to rename it because of the competition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right.
But it's one of those things I was going to say, like that black beer and the other black beer that I brew all the time. I always get green apple off of it. Like that's the first flavor I taste, and I get pissed off. But when I go and I drink other professional examples of like dry Irish and shit like that, I pick that up there too. Not so much Guinness. I don't know if that's the nitro thing or.
Yeah, maybe I'll say this is the first. Like I've had a number of your stouts, and this is the first one that I've tasted it on. So that's why I'm wondering if like
I feel like I tasted on all of them. Is what I'm saying.
If there's like a that's, and I'm not saying it's anything you did because I have every faith in your ability to brew, Jason. That's why I was kind of like looking at this. I'm like, I'm just wondering if that's just me, like if I'm misplacing that flavor. Like if in my brain box it's telling me green apple, but really what I'm tasting is something different that has to do with the malts.
No, this year I'm not holding any hope out. Like I said, I've only done a couple of brews. I've been relatively rushed. Haven't really focused on brewing. Haven't really focused on this channel. Haven't done any like other than work and career. That's been my passion.
Things will calm down eventually.
Things will calm down. Things are calming down.
Good.
I've got some new people that work for me that are taking on some of my duties and making my life a little bit better.
Good.
Got to take Brian out to the office last week. We got to in the evenings after work, we got to go to a bunch of California breweries.
So jealous. Then he came back to this shit weather.
We brought back snow.
Probably too many. Like I think like halfway through the week, Brian and I were both going like, just want to go to bed. But we're gonna soldier on to the next brewery.
And we did, and we got them to custom make breadsticks for us. And
whoa, wait, what? You guilt tripped a cook?
Jason ordered off menu at a food truck.
I did. I forget where we were. I wanted.
It was
somehow
the
breadsticks came up.
The not the sour barrel. It was the
no, it wasn't Wild Barrel.
Wild Barrel, yeah.
Anyway, I don't remember what it was. I was just like, before we got there, I'm like, breadsticks sound amazing. Like, I would love some breadsticks. And then we get to this Wild Barrel, which did amazing fruit sours. They obviously, you could tell they had a Berliner Weiss, and then they had the same Berliner Weiss on what, like 10 different taps? More
than that.
Or 50, yeah, maybe 15.
Yeah, it was like 15 different fruits. Yeah.
And it was just everyone was a different fruit. So it's like, okay, make a big 30 barrel batch of Berliner Weiss and just split it off and put, peaches in this one and black currants in this one and raspberries and watermelon. And I mean, it was crazy. that part was good. And they had a really good double cherry chocolate cherry stout.
Yeah, I don't even know how to describe it.
The name of the beer was like this long, and it said cherry and chocolate like 2 or 3 times each. It was good. Anyway, they had a food truck there. I went out to this food truck. It was a pizza truck, and he had 5 different pizzas on the menu. And I'm like, oh man, you don't have breadsticks? And he's like, I'll make you some. And I'm like, what? And he's like, oh yeah, I'll throw cheese on it. I'll throw some garlic sauce or garlic butter. I'll do this. And he's like, I'll just serve it with some sauce on the side. I'll make you some breadsticks. I'm like, all right.
You're amazing.
Paid the guy, I don't know what it was, $12. Went back in the bar. He brought Brian and I breadsticks. Like
he even cut them like breadsticks.
What's that?
You even cut them like breadsticks. You know, like one slice down the middle and flat the rest of the way up. Yeah.
He found some ranch dressing. I don't know where that came from. And he gave us like his tomato sauce and ranch dressing, and they were fucking amazing.
They were really good. I don't know if that's because we had, been out drinking since 11 a.m.
Whatever.
But nothing to do with it.
If you're in California, I think it was called Saucy Tongue food truck.
Go find them. Go patronize their food truck. Yeah, we found a homebrew shop.
We did. Oh, what were they called? Wild West.
Wild West. Yeah, homebrew supplies or something like that.
Shout out to Wild West. Check them out on Facebook. They're in
Escondido, I think.
Escondido. They were down the street from Little Miss Brewing in Escondido. Wild West homebrew supply store. Him
and his wife bought it in the middle of COVID.
Yeah,
they wandered in to buy some homebrew supplies, and he said they ended up buying a homebrew shop. So,
but what I love is you go in there and you're like, "Do you have any beer on tap?" Because you saw the taps, obviously. Yeah. And you're like, "You got any beer?" And he's like, "I can't sell it. It's homebrew." And he's like. And then Brian, just without missing a beat, how about some free samples? The next thing you know, this guy's giving us like his homebrew saison, and it was good.
Yeah,
So, yeah, it was a fun adventure.
For the next hour, I'm sitting there talking about what it would be like to open a homebrew shop in Kalamazoo. After that, it's like, if Bell's closes down, somebody's got to do it.
Yep. I mean, there'd be a void then, so fill it.
Oh, South County is going to do some good business.
That's right. South County is our homebrew store. So I'm going to dig into the cider.
You know what this tastes like? Smelling it, my very first sip, it smells like fresh crushed apple. Like you can smell like the not vegetal matter, the fruit matter in it too. Like it, and not in a bad way, like it just smells still fresh pressed. Like it's very it's very good.
Like that's a good thing.
It is, I think. Yeah, it's not Mott's apple juice.
What would you put this in Gwent Cap as, Jordan? Like, are you gonna go traditional?
Do you remember I don't even remember what the difference between traditional and modern is.
I was just gonna say I looked at both of them when I was filling out my Glint Cap submission, and I think I picked modern. I think I picked modern dry.
So last year, Brian and I entered virtually the same Perry. Virtually, like it was the same batch of juice from Husteds, and I think we used the same yeast. It's just one was fermented in my basement, one was fermented in his basement. You entered yours as modern. I entered mine as traditional. I got a silver. You got a bronze.
Right. And so I swapped it this year. I still had 2 bottles left.
Yep. So we're both entering as traditional this year. Right?
Yeah. Yep. I think. God, I'll have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure.
So I have Jordan. The moral of this story is I have no idea what the fuck.
That's kind of. I mean, I read the descriptions and everything. I'm kind of like,
for as many different types of meads and honeys and stuff like that there are out there. I feel like cider is the more intimidating thing to judge for some reason. I don't know. I feel like you're not really adding things to cider. There's not a ton of fruit ciders out. I mean, there are, but like for the most part, I feel like when you see or
Especially
think
Perry.
cider, you think like
Perry's so
traditional.
like so niche.
Yeah,
I feel like with like I guess apple cider more or less, there's a little more variety to it. But no, I mean I feel like this is good. I think this is the one that I like. I'm actually gonna pour a small sample of my other one, because I can't keep my tap straight. I don't. I said I blew my keg, but um that mead that I blew earlier, I
Mhm.
had been sipping on since like December. So it's
it's
been a minute.
it's definitely dry, but it's not like um Jason, I'm gonna move you back up. Yeah. Wait, was this how we were?
Yeah, there you
Yep,
go.
that's it.
I was about to do it. So,
Um,
I think it's dry, right?
but it's not like dry white wine dry.
No.
Like it has more of a substantial body. I think that
So I would probably put that as semi-dry then, because it's not puckering, right? It doesn't have any astringency at all.
I could see semi-dry or dry. And that's another thing. I've been watching these videos, BJCP videos and stuff like that. Like I just watched one on mead judging with Carvin Wilson the other day, who's a very big name in the mead making world. And his thing was like, unless it's like a night and day difference, like unless you enter like something as dry and it's like the most like dessert sweetest thing you've ever had, like the level of sweetness that you enter something into a competition as shouldn't really play a huge role in how it's judged. Like if this is entered as dry or like semi-dry, like I don't think that it's going to make that much of a difference. Hopefully, maybe. I like that advice when I start judging. I think that's a
Well, that was honestly kind of
good
my
piece.
thought with
Yeah.
putting it in towards dry is I'm there. It's not. This isn't. If this is what I'm thinking, it's not back sweetened at all. I have one that's back sweetened with like, oh shit, maybe like an eighth or like a sixth of a can of apple juice concentrate, and that's it.
Sure.
Just like very very little amount to just add a little tiny bit of backbone to it. But I'm pretty sure that was my 1118, the one that I brewed with EC 1118. 71B, I feel like just leaves a little bit more residual sweetness to it, and I'm pretty sure this is the one. But that's why, yeah, I said dry, because it's like, oh, there a little extra sweet. If it's on that line and it's not gonna cross it, like a little extra sweetness is probably just gonna work better in my favor in terms of judging.
I think it's going to fit into either of those, dry or semi-dry.
Now, do you guys get anything? So I've been sipping on this, for a little while, and I think personally, to me, on the finish, if I'm trying to be hypercritical of it, I get just a little, I don't know, hotness at the end, maybe slightly vinegary. And it's just a little bit all the way in the back of my throat. But
No.
that's just me. That's just me if I'm, trying to be super, super picky. Doesn't quite have like maybe the body or the.
I think you could talk me into the vinegariness, but I also think that's part of cider. Like, I don't think that's a standout off flavor.
I would want to try this still. It's so.
You're saying like it's carbonic acid.
Yeah.
Oh, that could be. I mean, I have a tendency to undercarbonate my stuff, but this.
I mean, I could go either way on this. Like the carbonation is fine, and I could go for it higher. But I would like to try it still too, just to see. Like I think that this dry and still, would be quite good. Like especially if this had a higher ABV. Like I know there's not really a good way to do that without jacking it or doing like a ice wine or ice cider like sort of thing. But I think
Right.
that like this flavor as like a 12% still cider would be like chef's kiss.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's good though. I think the fruit comes through. I think. I mean, honestly, it's better than a lot of the professional canned shit that I've tried recently.
Yeah, totally. All of it.
If these are just husted apples, and you treated them just fine.
Perfect. I'll take
all the cider that's out there right now is like really sweet. And not that I have anything against sweet cider. That's how most of my cider is. But this is much more of like a golfing cider. I guess like you take it out on the course and just like keep it in your cart and sip on it in between holes, and it's more refreshing.
So
that's kind of what I was going for. Something that was like,
I wish I had them cold. I've been cleaning my office today, Jordan, in between meetings. And a year ago, I think, you gave me a 6-pack of your cider.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
2 different kinds. I think I got 3 bottles of each.
Are they green caps?
Yeah.
That's what I use a lot. It's either green or silver, but be interested if he knows what it is. Does he have my Perry? Did I give him Perry?
Yeah, maybe you Sharpie the tops. I don't know. I don't know anybody else that uses green caps.
So I have 2 plain. They're 2 of them are plain, and 2 of them say, I think that says JB Hydro.
Oh, it's a hydro. Oh, maybe that's the Hydromel that we're drinking right now.
No, it would be a Hydromel. That's my first iteration of the Hydromel that I did. Last year. And then with the other cider, the other one, I don't know what it would be.
The unlabeled one.
I found these in the closet, so they've been kept in a dark closet as I was cleaning my office, and I was excited about these. Like I set these aside; they're going back in the fridge, and I'm like, "Fuck!" I remember the cider being really, really good, and I enjoyed it. I don't remember the Hydromel.
We might have even done that on
thanks,
like a previous beer review.
Yeah. You're welcome. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm really bad. In the past year, I bring so much up to this office to do the show. I have the beer fridge and other things, and I probably had 200 beers, like in my office or in my office fridge and closet, and I'm not going to start naming breweries, but I was digging something out of my closet last week or 2 weeks ago. Was it right? I think 2. And a beer had exploded from a professional brewery. Thankfully, it was all I had set them all in this tote, and so it was all contained. And so today, in between meetings, I was going through that tote and some other totes and pulling beers out, and I actually I probably committed a beer sin. I think I dumped out 30 beers today.
Wow.
From
they're
shitty breweries. And what's that, Brian?
They're chonky.
Some were chonky. Some were very, very fucking. I poured out, again, brewery to remain nameless, not a Michigan brewery. I poured out a beer that had at least 1.5 inches of solid material in the.
Oof.
And it was an IPA, but it's like 6 months old. It's not that old. It's old, but it's not. And I don't care how old it was. With that much solid material in there, that fucking shit was in there. But anyway, in doing that, I found yours, and so.
Well, perfect.
Yeah. You got some back in the fridge. I actually found some others from the Homebrew Club. Found some good shit from some other guys that is going back into the beer fridge, and then the rest of this shit's going down to the cellar. You remember we did the pie beer or pie day back on March 14th, where Brian, you broke out the Ferndale pie beers. I found like 8 of them today.
You know, Jason, there's a chance that those unlabeled ones could be a Perry if it's from a year ago.
Well,
Do you want
I
to
mean,
risk it? Now they're not cold, but
they're not cold right now. No, I was gonna put them in the beer fridge, but then I had to put these 6 for the show in the beer fridge.
weren't we going to do like a mystery beer episode at one point in time too? Or did we
Yeah.
already do that?
We've
I
done
can
that
save
once
those.
before. Yeah.
I can save those for the mystery beer show.
Let's do another. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Speaking of, I mean, we're getting on now. It's been an hour, and I don't think this show needs to go 2 or 3 hours, but
It can. Maybe it should.
we did get together and we talked about the future, the next 3 months, right?
Yeah. Yep. We have.
And you have that, don't you, Brian?
I do. You want me to pull it up?
Yeah, I do, because I don't.
So next week, we're going to be doing a kegging episode, or at least some sort of like.
I should have saved all my fucking hate for Penlocks.
Oh, we can re-hate.
Okay.
That's perfectly fine. Big Brew Day, the official Big Brew Day, is May 9th. Or I'm sorry, May 7th. So on May 9th, we're going to do a post Big Brew Day recap show.
And it's your birthday.
May 7th is my birthday. So it's like it's my favorite holiday. Like once every, like 6-ish years, it falls back on my birthday again. So
Well, that's fucking fantastic. Brian.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. Sometime in May, we're hoping to get Pucks on again too. We need to talk to Chris up there. Literally, it's been a year and we have not reached back out to him. He probably doesn't even remember who we are. So I have like year-old Puck cider in my fridge that I've been dying to try for a long time now. I still have Jordan's 4-pack, which I have had multiple opportunities to bring him and always forget about.
And we're actually going to go to Pucks a week from Thursday.
Yeah. So
Jordan, are you coming with us?
Quite possibly.
Okay.
Right.
You are more than invited. And Andrea too, if she wants to come. If you can find like a babysitter for Charlie.
That's right. That is next week. We might be able to. I'll bring it up to her.
I can fit 7, so
perfect.
So yeah, we're going to drop off cider at Glint Cap, and we are then gonna go to Pucks and try to get Chris on the show. Not that he watches this, but if you do, Chris, we're coming.
The 27th, or no, 28th of May is the other Big Brew Day.
Yes.
The soul labeled Big Brew Day over in Detroit, which is more of a giant ass competition event, right?
Right. It's a big brew party, basically.
Yeah. And so we maybe want to recap that on the 30th.
We're actually going to be there. Hopefully, we're going to hook up with Trouble Brewing, Matt Ishman from Trouble Brewing, and maybe even Barb from the Siren of Stout.
Yep.
I'd love to actually meet her in person.
Oh, yeah, that was super cool. So we're gonna head over there and we're gonna brew and we're gonna probably capture some video. I don't know if we'll go live. I doubt it.
We'll see. But Matt will probably capture some stuff. He wants to do a grain of glass video starting from a brew over there.
That would be awesome. So
that'd be great.
Guest starring over on Trouble Brewing.
I tried to do, grab some footage when I was at the Winter Beer Festival. I was too cold and got too drunk. It was my hands.
I never asked you how that went. How was it?
Yeah, it was great. It was cold as fuck. I mean, we had like 25, 30 mile an hour winds, and I think they had two fire pits for like 5,000 people.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, it was cold as shit. I mean, this whole year's kind of, this whole spring time has been kind of uncharacteristically cold, or maybe this is characteristic for Michigan spring, and we're just spoiled from previous years. But it was cold. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of really good beers. I can't really think of anything that stood out in my brain that just wasn't good.
Did you hit the Russian River tent? Did they have one? I can't remember if they go to that festival or not.
I was gonna say, were they there? There was so the list that they put out like a week beforehand, there was easily like 2 or 3 times as many breweries there. It was there's no
wow.
way there's no way you're hitting them all.
No.
There's no way you're hitting even a quarter of them without, being brought out on a stretcher.
Winter
But
Beer Fest is the only beer fest that I've actually been to that I don't remember leaving.
I could see why.
I've never
Absolutely.
been. I want to go.
Thankfully I took a bus up there with a group, and somebody put me on the bus, and I woke up in Kalamazoo.
Cool.
I remember you saying that now. Yeah.
There's an angel out there.
That's
You went by yourself?
But no, I was with the whole group. John and Mandy Sutton were there. I want to say Josh Buck was there. I don't know. Other people were there. I remember I woke up back in Kalamazoo in the parking lot at One Well, which was our drop off, our spot. And I remember hearing stories about like 3 or 4 other people on the bus that had puked. And I was just happy that all I did was pass out. So
great. Yeah.
Somebody walked me to the bus.
Save that for
I got
home.
on the bus and I took a nap. I woke up in Kalamazoo and I was good to go. Went home.
It was it's a lot of fun. It's great.
You had a hotel up there, right?
We did. Yes. Yeah. I wouldn't. No, I'm not gonna drive back down. A bus is a great way, as Jason had said. It was my wife and I's like first time overnight away from the kid. So that's what we decided to do. Not gonna lie, there was a bit of anxiety being he's almost 2 years old. I still call myself a new parent. Does that ever stop? I don't know. But yeah, it was like, oh, I'm gonna go to a beer fest and I'm gonna get drunk and my kid's gonna be an hour away. But
it stops.
It stops. Good. Glad to hear it. But yeah. It was a lot of fun. I think this was the first year it was back. It was canceled last year. Yeah. So, this was, there was a lot more people there than I had ever anticipated seeing at a beer festival. It was actually quite surprising.
I have no doubt.
Right on.
But yeah, it was a good time. Don't know what we were talking about beforehand because I'm starting to get a buzz.
We should drink at least one more.
What are we hitting?
Let's do the sour. No, let's do the sour.
The sour.
The sour?
Yeah.
Which one is that?
It has like S number 1 on it or something like that.
It has the Chinese symbols.
Oh, the hieroglyph.
So open it slowly. Jordan, I think that this is the first sour that we put through our 15-gallon journeyman barrel. I think. I'm not positive.
Totally still.
Wait, I've got 4 of these left.
Okay, I'm not sure if it is. You'll have to tell me. I don't know. I labeled it like that, but I don't remember why I labeled it like this. So it could be.
Oh, I hope so, because if it is, man, I'd love this beer. I'm excited now.
It totally did not react at all.
Oh yeah.
Did it hiss at all? At least
just a little bit.
It's got carbonation.
Okay.
But
okay.
Yeah. It's not.
It's light.
You didn't get any wild fermentation.
I mean, we did. That was the point. But
well, okay. But you didn't get secondary, tertiary.
Yeah.
I don't know if you recall, but I did submit this beer to O'Connor's.
Okay, no, I don't.
A number of years ago, it was O'Connor's. The medals, the same year that I got the few medals. You took a medal home.
Yeah.
This one took 4th in its category.
Oh, that's awesome. It's very Brett Ford. It almost smells a little cheesy to me. It almost smells a little bit like cheese.
My first nose hit was Brett, all Brett. I could get cheese, sure.
Yeah, I get a little bit of the cheesiness. I do get Brett. I do think this is our number 1.
Wow.
I think it is too.
Like it's not super aggressively sour, you know. It's not like a face punch.
Yeah.
That's what I liked about it, to be honest, is that it wasn't like the ABV wasn't so low to where it's going to give you indigestion.
No, it's got I don't know, like I want to say fruit, and I also want to say horse blanket.
It's the reason I saved it is because it's not my jam, and it really hasn't changed much. It legit smells like Brett and cheddar cheese to me, and like it tastes better than that.
It does. It tastes like it
tastes like bitter orange peel.
see, I was going to say apple cider vinegar.
Okay.
So I don't get that at all.
You know,
Like,
I don't get any vinegariness. No,
I do at the end. I get a little bit of acetic at the end. It's very Brett forward. It's very dry hay. That's where I get the horse blanket, like up front. And then when I swallow, I get kind of like fruit, which I associate with apple, and a little bit of that tart.
I'm pouring the rest of this into my dump glass because I just don't care for it. It's not my favorite. And it's not that it's bad. It's not that it's bad. It's just that it's complex in a really
All right,
weird
I'll change
way that
it.
I don't like.
It's like a really light Flanders.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to put it.
Like I wish it was more. It's very, very.
But that's really why I like it, is because there's a lot of flavors going on in it, but nothing's hitting you in the face.
It's not
Like,
aggressive. It's very not aggressive.
Exactly. It's noticeably sour, key on noticeably. Like you get Brett character, which I'm not a fan of, but it's noticeable, but it's not punching you in the face. I like that. I mean, to be entirely honest, it's like a lawnmower beer of sours. Like nothing about this is over the top.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
That's me though. I mean, that's just me.
I think it's too aggressively cheesy or something.
I don't get that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I might be able to get that on the breathe through.
Like retro nasal.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but I also I don't know. I really enjoy pungent cheeses, so
That's right. Like Brian, you don't like blue cheese, or
I don't. No.
Yeah. Like I'm not, like, personally, I'm not a fan of blue cheese specifically, but like some of those really pungent cheeses that you'll get, like some of those hard cheeses, I really enjoy.
This is the only beer I've dumped in my dump glass so far. So
I'm actually so. I mean, if you're going down the cheese road, I'll take it. As funky, fuck you, as your face. I don't care. I'll drink it. Like all the blue cheeses. But
I do. Okay, so Jason, I think you're the one who said vinegary a little bit.
I do. I get vinegar at the end, at the very end.
Just a little bit. I do get a little bit of that now. I kind of wonder if my bottles get that as well.
So that's what I'm saying. Like I get like this Brett. I want to say I get the Brett. I want to get the straw, the hay, that horse blanket, wild.
Yeah.
Pick off of it, and then when I swallow, I get fruitiness and a slight vinegar flavor. Overall, this is if it had fruit, it would be perfect. Like if you put like, or if it honestly, well, let me finish the thought because I'm getting a little tipsy and I'm jumping around. So I think raspberries, some of the fruit in this would really make it good.
I almost feel like it would need to be more tart, though.
What this really needs, I think, is for it to have been fermented with a saison yeast. Like what this really, for me, what this really wants is like pepper.
So
what I think, I would go, okay, if I'm going back to it, what I think of when I drink a good Flanders red, right, has a Flanders has kind of more of everything that this beer has. More malt, more
acetic.
more acetic, more everything. Like this. If I were to close my eyes and ignore the fact that it is a very beautiful straw gold color, this is like a really bland Flanders.
Are you drinking yours warm?
I mean,
Room temp?
Mine was sitting out in the garage before
Probably
I brought
like-
it down.
Mine's really cold. So I'm
no,
wondering
this is probably like 50, 55.
Mine's like 40. So
It's
I'm
been
wondering
sitting
if
on
like
my
I'm
desk
getting
for an
different
hour.
flavors than you are too.
I was gonna say,
Like, if I
that's-
let it warmed, if it would be
That's definitely
more
something,
enjoyable.
because all the ones that all of my version ones that I drank that came out of the bottles were all room temp.
As I drink this, I'm like, I am enjoying it more, and I do get the acetic now, Jason. And I wonder if part of it has to do with me pouring it into another glass and just like
Maybe drove
off
some of that
gassing some
off.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's
like,
been sitting on my
warming it up.
desk
I don't
for-
know.
It's been sitting on my desk for 2 hours.
Okay.
And mine's been sitting next to me this entire show. I mean, I brought it in from outside, so it's been sitting for an hour and a half.
Mine came right out of the
almost.
fridge. Yeah, I don't know.
I like it.
I don't hate it as much now. Still not my favorite.
I will say, like straight up unblended, this was probably my favorite of the three that we did. Although I obviously haven't tasted much of the third version.
I don't know how it is now. The last time I had it when I was over at Drew's house, it was very mild and quite good. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully it hasn't oxidized too much in the barrel or something weird, but
I think this is delightful.
okay.
Yeah, maybe it's just me in my old age, but I say old age, but I enjoy things that are a little more mild. Like I love sours. I don't want fucking gut rot after I drink a pint of it. I want that flavor. I like it, but I
agree.
I'm with you like that, and I forget where we were at this weekend or the last week, Brian. I don't.
It
I
feels
know.
like a weekend.
I know. But there were so okay. Before we went to California, I was here in town at Saugatuck, and I honestly I forget the beer I drank. It was just too tart. You know, it was like it reminded me of a distill beer. Distill beer.
What's that?
Yeah, distill.
Distill.
Yeah.
Distill. Yeah, like just punch you in the fucking like the jaw clenching tart.
Oh yeah.
Like, and I can't do that. Like honestly, going back to it, I love Trevor Klimek, my fucking hero of beer. I drank a version of his Red Barn Sour one time that literally knocked me out for the day. Not because I was drunk, but because I had like a tension headache.
Oh
Yeah.
From
Yep.
my jaw and face like seizing up from how acidic this beer was. And I've just never really been a super fan of that. Like I'm, and I forget, like, honestly, I forget where we were, Brian, but there were a couple of beers this week that we tried in California where it was just like too acidic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can taste it off of the first taste. You get it, and you're just like, yeah, you get it. You get like back of the jaw, around the back of the skull. For me,
Yep.
You just kind of feel
back of the
that, like,
skull, yeah.
oh, and then it hits your gut, and you're just like, yeah, I don't want to drink a whole pint of that. Like, it tastes good. It's a great beer, but like, I don't want to drink a pint. Like this stuff, I'll have, like, it's sour. It's got that sour flavor. It's got a lot of complexity to it. Yeah, it may not be like, Brian, I'll agree with you. Like, it's complex, but it may be better crafted with the amount, like the type of cultures that are in there.
Yeah.
Like there is that. But in terms of, I would call this, like I said, kind of like a lawnmower sour. Like it's got a lot of the flavors of a sour. But it's also, I could have 3 or 4 of them and probably still be fine.
I feel like we've done better with our newer sours as we've learned more about how to use the barrel and stuff like that.
That's true, but that also comes, it's a culture. It's a world of its own. The more we put through it, the more it's going to start solidifying its own identity. So this is the first time through.
I don't want to be a quitter tonight, so I want to get through our last 2 as well. But maybe we just do half pours. Oh,
Hey,
that's fine by me. I'll have to grab another glass here.
Thanks for calling that out. Why'd you delete it?
Was that a Twitch dude?
No, I missed him.
I don't know. I was trying to clean it up and I fucking put it on air. So he's still watching. Good on you. You made it. You got it.
Yeah.
Who's this old helmet? Maybe it's just a joke. It was half pours, right?
We are doing half pours of the last 2. I mean, why not?
Yeah, let me grab another glass.
What was the comment though? I don't remember what the comment was.
Something about strap on.
We're giving him what he wants.
Yeah,
I know. I want to know now. That's fine. He's not watching anymore because
he said strap on spelled backwards is something.
Yeah, now I have to think about it. Now I'm gonna grab a glass. I'll be...
So Brian,
is no Pats. Okay. All right.
What was we got to kill some time here. What was your favorite beer that you had in California?
Man, I don't know. It wasn't Pliny. Pliny was good. Even the double dry hop Pliny was fine. But it's an old beer at this point, kind of, right? Like, probably. Oh man, I want to say it was something cleaner.
What's
like
this?
Maybe the Czech at Lost Abbey. It was really, really, really good.
Really?
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
I feel like for me it was something.
I'm like going through my head.
What are we talking about?
I just asked him about the good beers that he had in California. Like, what was his favorite?
Okay, all right.
So we of course we got to have a pint of Pliny double dry hop, Pliny on
I saw
top.
that.
But that was just it's Pliny. It's like, and I I'm not going to be a dick and show the picture, but like there were literally cases of Pliny on the shelf that we could.
Well, I mean, it's like Two-Hearted over here.
Oh yeah, totally.
You could just like walk down to the store and be like, "Yeah, I'll."
They had
it.
Hop Slam on tap, and people were like going crazy.
Yeah. But I agree with you. Like I'm the mood that I'm in. I was into some really light beers, and so I know we would roll up to this brewery, and the first I remember taking we went to Modern Times. And the first flight I ordered was all fucking Pilsners. Like,
I think mine was too.
Yeah.
And then I think I did a couple IPAs next. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just really into the lagers, the light lagers, and I'm trying to remember what brewery we went to, and I went in there and I'm like, I just want a light lager, and they actually had like light ass beer. Like I think it was like called something like that, like light ass junk or trash or whatever. It was delightful. I don't remember where that was though.
I just went to look at this old helmets. I probably shouldn't even call this name out, like YouTube page, and it's just like a few like gun videos and like a creepy old baby doll video. So
cool.
I don't think we're missing on
Give
anything.
me the attention you need. Hopefully that makes you feel better about yourself.
It does. I don't
We have no
like.
viewers, and yet you come here and you want to make some stupid comment.
I don't know. Like I just don't like just indiscriminately. Like I feel bad. Like maybe creepy old baby video dude. Like
Okay. Honestly,
maybe he needs his time to shine. I don't. We have 2 viewers left. I know it's Brandon and Tim Wickland. Like it's got to be right. Like if you guys are still in chat, say hey. I want to see if I'm right. I want to see if I can call you guys out.
Right.
But let's see who it is. Oh, bye, Jason.
We're gonna do. I think we're gonna do like half pours of like the rest the other 2 beers that we have left.
What are we starting with? We're doing a stout.
We have Hydromel and stout. Let's do Hydromel because I don't want the stout to be all like roasty and shit and like block out like all the taste of the Hydromel. So
yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so I'm gonna.
Oh God, I forgot about Shayna. Hi, Shayna. Well,
we love you.
Yeah. She's so supportive. I am very lucky.
Yeah,
in very, very many ways. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna go grab a half glass of Hydromel, and it's gonna be your face for. I'll wait till Jason gets back.
This has not settled, so I'm gonna pour this. I'm gonna drink it anyway. Like we're only doing half pours or whatever.
Like I said, I drank almost a whole glass of it upstairs, and it was milky. And that bottle came before the other 2 that I had already poured. So,
did we go with the Hydromel?
We are.
Yep. Oh, I can't pour any of it because it's gone.
Why is it gone? Oh yeah, no, you have to drink that glass. Did you dump the glass?
Oh no, I still have some upstairs. Hold on, let me go grab it.
Yeah. So this is what my pour looks like, Jason. So this is fuck you.
You can see my face.
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. Your teeth are so white. It's beautiful.
I'm weak in the wrong eye. Sorry. Oh.
I don't know if he says it tastes the same. I don't know if my review is going to be quite the.
So much for the half pour.
Right, the same. Well, did you have dump glass? It's a Hydromel, right? It's probably still like 6-7%. He's coming back right now. Jordan, what's the ABV on this?
About 6.5.
Right in the middle. Boom.
Yep.
So
yeah, I don't know if you can see it in this, but in my Jim Beam glass, but yeah, you can see. You see the stuff settling out on this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying not to, Jordan, I love you. I'm not trying to be a dick.
Nope. Go for it, man.
I get something medicinal off of it.
I kind of thought the same. So hold on. Yeah. I don't think I hit my nutrient schedule on this quite as well as this is using 1118 rather than 71B.
So go over what's a Hydromel.
Yeah. Hydromel. So essentially, it's from my understanding, low ABV mead that's essentially got water added, meaning the hydro water. So essentially, I think I took. I'd have to look at my recipe, but a certain amount of pounds of honey, I boiled that in some water for a short amount of time, added that in the fermenter, got it cooled down, and then added water on top of that with some nutrients and yeast and let it go. This was using Costco honey, so not super high grade honey at that.
So probably clover.
Yeah, clover honey. So yeah, not a honey that's gonna have a whole lot of character to it. It was more or less just to try to get the process down. And like I said, I think the nutrient schedule would have to take a look at what I had, but I think my goal was to put nutrient in it every couple days for a week, but I honestly think I only ended up hitting it once or twice over the
for hydromels. I mean, they ferment so fast that you can probably front load all of it and be okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I did this at the same time I did a sack style mead, so I was trying to do the same nutrient
Yeah.
schedule on both of them.
Okay.
So because I did them both in the same day, time is precious. But
Yep.
the hydromel that you have in the other bottles, Jason, is, in my opinion, honestly, probably going to be a bit better. This was, and to me, when it's cold, was drinkable, but was not my favorite. I wouldn't be submitting this anywhere if if I had the option.
I get that. I don't know. I get that medicinal, not a lot of flavor, alcohol.
Mine is being tainted, I think, by just all the stuff in suspension. So I'm not sure if I can give like a good description. It's like
So honestly, what I taste like is watered down mead, which is what it's supposed to be.
It totally is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Congratulations, man.
But that to me, it tastes kind of hot. Like even now, as I'm, and maybe it's after having that sour, I'm getting a little heat in the back of the throat or something like that. But it's, in my opinion, it's always tasted a little hot, never really cooled down. And it was a bit of a learning experience.
Sure. Yeah.
For
No,
sure.
cool.
I mean, only my second hydromel I've made. So
what do you think you would change for next time? Being that it's learning.
As you said, probably front load all of my nutrient. Use better quality honey. I'm going to change my yeast over to 71B, which I have always loved for my ciders. And my previous sack mead and the current sack mead that I have sitting in a fermenter, I'll use 1118, but that's because I couldn't find 71B anywhere. The moment I did find 71B, I think I bought like 26 packs.
I have a lot sitting in my fridge too. So,
yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things. It's desiccated yeast. It's going to last for a long damn time. So yeah, those are the things I'm probably gonna change up a bit.
Looking to do a traditional still and hydromel still, or like do anything with fruit or like peppers or.
My next one, I actually think I kind of want to do some fruit.
Okay.
I was at Costco looking at some frozen bags. I'm not quite sure how much fruit I would add though. That's with a sack, it's like you can go anywhere from 15 pounds upwards, but with a hydromel, like I don't know if I want that much in there or if I want to tamp that down a little bit.
Did you ever have any of the mango habanero hydromel that I made?
Yes, I did. I remember that. It was very good.
10 pounds of mango.
But mango is also
it's very watery.
delicate.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And most of my like dessert meads are about 30 pounds for like a 5-gallon batch.
All right, that's good to know. So maybe I'll toss in 10 and
see
where it ends up.
And maybe consider primary versus secondary too. Like you're gonna get more flavor if you stabilize and then add the fruit in secondary.
Yep.
And let it sit for 4 to 6 weeks or something. Versus letting it all ferment out in primary and stuff. But
yep. Yeah, I haven't, like I said, I haven't come up, chances are I'll probably just do another traditional, try to get the traditional recipe nailed down before I start, messing with fruit again. But I do want to do a fruited hydromel.
I think that'd be delicious.
This reminds me of, I did, my very, very, very first mead, I had way too much honey and it came out like 13-14% and the yeast died out. I still had a shit ton of sugar. And then I made my second mead, which was super dry, very little honey, and it fermented out to like nothing. And I thought I'd mix the two together and have a happy medium mead. This reminds me of that really kind of watered down plain mead I made. I mixed it with a super sweet mead, still wasn't happy. And then I wound up throwing it on 10 pounds of cherries 3 years ago. Anyway, this meat's been in my basement in a carboy for 10 years now. And I'm still not.
Yeah. It might be time to let it go.
Let it go?
Yeah.
I tried it a while ago, and it was fine, but
no, it's shit. But and I'm not saying that this is shit, but it reminds me of that.
No, like I'll be 100% honest. It's not something I was fully happy with.
What are
personally.
you using for nutrients, and what are you using for yeast, and how are you starting your yeast? 3 important questions.
Yep. So a couple things there again, learning. So this was, I want to say, 2 packs of dry, not started, that were tossed in. The nutrients. Oh, I'd have to take a look at my bags because I'd have them all rubber banded together in my pack. K-Meta and LDAP come to mind.
Yeah.
Those are the 2. And I did. Oh, this is not important for this, but what are you laughing at?
Myself.
Oh,
Jason.
Oh, but
I think he's
yeah,
drunk.
Yeah, probably. I mean, we're almost a 6-pack in, so
keep going.
But yeah, no. I do have some. Oh shit, I can't remember what it's called. The Meta Red or something.
That I don't know. Okay.
Something red. It's something to help preserve the color of fruit, red fruit meads.
Opti Red?
Not Opti Red. That's it. It's not in this, obviously, but
okay.
I've realized, like, as I've been doing reading on meads, is that and it's a lot like wine. There's so much of these additives that nutrients and additives that you put in to help preserve, colors and flavors, or drop things out of suspension during fermentation. It's a whole different game. So it's given me a lot more respect for the things that you do, Brian, and the meads that you make.
I use Opti White in my traditionals, so same concept.
Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, it's totally a thing. Yeah. Opti White and Booster Blanc.
Okay, interesting. Okay,
they just reduce like a browning, for when oxygen comes in contact with like finished meat and stuff like that, and preserves like varietal flavors and things like that. So I don't know. I've never made one. So you know how I roll. Before I do anything, I read and 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 read. And like, I refuse to do anything without feeling like, I am an expert on the matter. And what do we call that, Jason? You sent me a TikTok. Thank you. I I become hyper fixated, on this thing that I want to do before I decide to do it. And then I invest all this money, and then I become a pro at it. And then I stop doing it.
And then he throws
go to the next thing. Yeah.
And then he fucking ignores them, and he lets them fucking get all wrinkly and rusty. And, yeah.
But no, I haven't done that for me. Thankfully, I've taken my knowledge but before I did my first traditional, I was like, I'm not going to do this unless, I know 100% what I'm doing and shit. And even then, it's been 2 years since I've made my first traditional, and I've only just made my first one that I thought was like good, which is a fireweed traditional, which I'll have to have you try. Do you have some? It's the only traditional I've made that I liked so far. So
I liked your Metafoam traditional.
I tried one. I actually have one right here because I was thinking about it the other day, and it's fine, but it's
if anything,
just
it was a little sweet, in my opinion. But
yeah, it's not quite as balanced, and I know more now about like what that means, and part of that is making it and drinking it, and yeah, I don't know, but I think Jason really wants to try this out. I can see it on his face.
I'm all for it.
just we're about to hit the 2 hour mark. I think Jason wants just a little bit of stout, and then we'll close it out around 2 hours. How do you feel about that, Jason?
I just told you I can't do it. I really don't want to open this stout because I know it's a good stout. I've had this stout.
Jordan and I will review the stout while
I
you
don't
review.
want to waste this bottle.
Okay.
And I will not drink this stout. So I'm not going to open it. I'm not taking peer pressure. Fuck you.
Wow.
That's
the first time we haven't been able to peer pressure you into something in quite some time.
It's good. So. It's a fantastic stout. It's delicious. I'm going to try to remember it. It's a fucking stout. That's my memory on it.
I'm opening it, and this will be our last beer of the night.
Did you,
Jordan? I don't know if you want to join me.
Put any wood in it?
I review my own beer. No, I didn't. And if you taste any wood in it, that's because of the Northern Brewer hops.
Okay.
So, I'm running out of room on my desk for empty bottles. If you, the beer was made to be aged. The recipe was.
Be right back.
This is a recipe, and again, I'll work with Jordan and Jason to get recipes up for on Facebook or wherever for tomorrow. But this was originally designed to be aged like in a barrel.
Didn't you put up a chunk of it to be?
It is, yeah. 11 keepers just made this recipe to put in a 55-gallon barrel that one of our new members, one of his friends maybe, organized for us. So we all brewed a shit ton of this beer, and it's sitting in that barrel right now. This is a rebrew of that with just a little bit less Northern Brewer hops. So the IBUs were just a little lower with the intention of not having it... didn't want it to have to be aged quite as much because when it's really green, it's still really bitter. But that falls off as time goes on.
They call this shit Vanta, like, like there's light, nothing.
Yeah,
that's
she's black beer.
That's not even like.
There's no like red highlights or anything.
No,
like
there's nothing.
Yeah.
Like, put it up to the light and no.
So I still think it's a little bitter, and I still think if I were to make this again and want to drink it young, I would still go less on the hops maybe. Part of what I think that I kind of fucked up on this beer versus the last time that I made it is I mashed with all the dark malts, and I didn't really account for pH as much with this beer. When I did it for the barrel, I mashed with all of the non-dark malts for about 40 minutes and then added the dark malts in at the end, accounting for pH changes and stuff like that for just all of the non-dark malts. So yeah, I don't know if that really changed the beer or not. We'll see.
I'd be interested to try those back to back.
Yeah, I wish I could. The beer is going to come out of the other beer is going to come out of a barrel, but yeah, we'll see. I could agree with what you're saying. Like, now that I'm sipping on a little bit, I don't know if it's the amount of dark malt that's in it that's giving it the bitterness. You have like lactose or anything in this? No. It finished at 1025.
Jesus.
Yeah. It started actually. The OG was a little low. I think it started at 1109.
What was your yeast?
Tartan.
Okay.
Imperial Tartan, right. So a Scottish yeast, which I like to use because it pitters off at like right around 10%, because I treated this really well and oxygenated it and shit. I think it went to 1005, but that's right where that Scottish yeast and a lot of English yeasts end up dying off at. And I just like that predictability. I was hoping to hit like 10 points higher on my original gravity and hoping to hit closer to 1037 on my
Was this
final
a
gravity.
5-gallon batch?
It was, yeah. Well, 6.5, just because of all the hops that were used.
What's your dark malt bill?
Everything, just yes. So you know what? Fuck it. Let me just put it up on the screen so I can like read it at the same time.
I was gonna say, because I feel like there's a lot in there, and you could probably dial back on a little bit. Because
I know. Does it taste a little chalky to you?
A little bit. It's got a little bit of like a malt bitterness to it,
Yeah.
astringency. It's not bad by any means. Like the body is great. Like how old did you say this was?
Well, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to share my screen and it looks like Chrome is timing out right now. So
perfect.
As long as you can still hear me. But according to this, I made it. Oh shit! I would have to pull up Excel. Hold on. How you doing, Jason?
You doing all right there, man? No. Time.
This is brewed on March 5th, so it's about six weeks old.
Okay.
So pretty young, all things considered.
Pretty young.
You know what, Jason? We don't have to go through this stuff, man. Like I know you're not going to drink it anyway, but
No, I'm not drinking it.
I know.
I'm savoring it because I know. So I'm at the point right now. I've got like half of your wild, most of his hydromel.
I do have a wild.
I'm not going to make it through it. And I'm not going to neglect that beer because I've had it and I know it's good. And I know you're like, oh, it's too this, it's too that. No, fuck, it's fine. It's a fine fucking stout. It's a beautiful Russian Imperial. I just can't remember my words well enough right now to give it the justice that it's due. Yeah. And he froze. He's frozen, right, Jordan?
Yeah, he's legit frozen. I thought he was just like, oh, he's entering in again.
Let's have two.
Hello, Brian number 2.
There's serious Brian.
Hold on.
Look on his face.
Let me remove old Brian from the stream.
Why?
There we go.
You know, I got to put everything back the way it was.
I'm sorry.
And let's bring him in. Look at him. He's so.
Oh, he removed himself now.
I just took burn out. Kill himself.
It
As
was.
I was saying, it's a fine stout. I don't think it has too much anything. It's a risk. It's beautiful. I'm not drinking right now, so I don't have the words to describe it. But it's just Brian being modestly Brian, like, oh, I've won a silver national medal, and I'm just,
No, I've won that. That was my sour. I've never won it with anything else.
Win.
With a real beer. You know,
modest.
So, well, I'm working on stouts this year. I've like 4 stouts in NHC this year, so we'll see how that does.
Jesus, man.
But no, like 2.25 pounds roasted barley, 1 3/4 pale chocolate, 1 pound carafa 2 special, 8 ounces crystal 120, 8 ounces crystal 60, and 4 ounces of special B. So
well, there's where you fucked up.
Yeah. So a lot of dark malt.
I was going to say, like, that doesn't sound like that.
The estimated SRM is like 66.6. So
I'd have to look at what my fucking recipe is. That doesn't sound too far away from what my pug stout recipe was, because that had a shit ton of fucking malts in it too.
Ton of Northern Brewer, a ton of EKG, but yeah. Maybe
it's the Northern Brewer or EKG. I don't know.
I do need to maybe work on lowering it and, not mashing with as many of the dark malts for the entirety of the mash potentially, or cold mashing. I know you've been really into that, Jordan.
I have never done it.
Cold steeping.
Oh, cold steeping. Yeah. Have you never? I thought you did something like that before. Oh, no. Nope. Okay. Well, sweet. Maybe we can all work
No,
on
no,
that.
no. I've heard of that, but I usually use what's the is it Black Patent? That's the
Yeah.
debittered
No, well, that's Black Prince.
Black Prince. That's the
No.
one that I usually use.
Yeah,
No?
Black Prince is
Oh
Black
wait,
Print.
yeah. You're right. You're right. I was thinking. I always go to Carafa 3 now.
Who's the sober one right now? All, all the crawfish specials. Yeah, I like the
You know
crawfish
what? It's
specials.
been 2 hours, folks. We'll be back next week with.
All right. All right.
Uh,
Talking about our kegging episode, our
we're going to talk
packaging
about
episode.
kegging next week, and we're going to get have a few beers. We're going to talk about kegging. We're going to shit on Penlocks. Come back, hang out with
Even
us.
more.
Even more. I'll probably have some of Jordan's mystery beer to drink, and maybe I'll even crack into Brian's stout.
Stout? Oh, okay.
Man.
All right.
Blow up his ego a little bit, but
It doesn't
thank
need
you.
it, but appreciate
Cheers.
that. Cheers, gents. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Yes. Thank
I know
you.
the podcast will be long. I'll edit tomorrow. And
Good night.
yeah, have a good night, guys.